All right, so we're reading Basketball Ballet by Lori Anastasia, and we're going to identify the characters and their points of view. Remember, the questions are graded for this activity. So you're going to answer the questions on your own, but I want you to follow along with me the best you can. That way you know some of the answers, hopefully, when we get there. So I'm going to read the story to you. We're going to identify the characters as we read and highlight different things that show us their point of view, just like we did yesterday. All right, so I'm going to start with a yellow highlighter, and whoever my first character is going to be yellow, and then I'll switch it from there. It says, "There's a new kid in our class," I told my friend Aiden, as we hung up our coats in the back of the classroom. "How do you know?" Aiden asked. "He moved in next door to me," I said, sitting down at my desk. "Mom and I brought muffins over yesterday." "Class, please welcome Brady Walker," Miss Simpson said, while my new neighbor stood beside her. "Brady, tell the class something about yourself," Miss Simpson said. "I'm from California," said Brady. "I have a dog that eats all my stuff." Everyone giggled. His dog sounds just like mine, I thought. "I like baseball and basketball, and I take dance class." "Dance class?" Aiden yelled. "That's for girls." The whole class laughed, and Brady's face turned bright red. "That's enough," Miss Simpson said. At lunch, Brady walked over to an empty seat at my table. "Hi, Emilio," Brady said to me. "Thanks again for those often muffins. Can I sit here?" I was about to say yes, but Jordan put his foot on the chair. "This seat is taken," he said. "Sit with the girls." Aiden laughed. Brady walked away and sat by himself. That afternoon, Brady sat by himself on the bus. I felt bad for him, so I thought about sitting with him, but I didn't want to get picked on. I remember how everyone teased me when I knit a scarf for Miss Simpson. I didn't like being teased, so I gave up knitting. But what would have happened if I would have stood up for myself? When I got home, I made a peanut butter and pickle sandwich. My dog, Gus, was barking by the living room window. I walked over to see why, and Brady was shooting baskets in his driveway. He was really good. So on this first page, we see our narrator, who we see is named Emilio. He is our narrator. And he feels bad for his new friend, Brady. He thought about sitting with him, but he didn't want to get picked on too, and so he didn't. And it says that everyone teased him when he knit a scarf for Mrs. Simpson. He didn't like being teased, so he gave up knitting. Right? And that's too bad, to be teased for something you like to do. And so he feels really bad for Brady, for his new friends, that people are teasing him. But he's also worried that if he tries to stand up for him or sit by him, that he's going to get teased too, and he doesn't want to be picked on also. So we're going to highlight these things to show us our narrator's point of view. We can tell already that our narrator doesn't think that Brady, the new kid, is like girly or anything like that. He thinks that it's kind of cool he does different things. But at the same time, he doesn't know if he can stand up for him because he doesn't want to get teased. Charlotte, stop. Got some wrong. I'm going to fix after class. Yes, Evan, absolutely. Sorry, I just saw that message just now. You're fine, babe. Oh my gosh. Let's go to page 2. Charlotte's having a little issue back there with her chair. All right. So I'm going to zoom in on page 2. We're going to see how our story ends.
Mommy,
What?
In a little bit.
I went back to the kitchen to get my sandwich. Here, draw on this paper.
Okay.
I went back into the kitchen to get my sandwich, but it was gone. Gus stood by the counter with a tiny pickle hanging from his mouth. The next day, we had gym with Coach Kelly. "Today, we're playing basketball," Coach Kelly announced. Emilio and Natalie will be captains. Emilio, you pick first. I looked around the room and noticed Brady, and it felt like giant robots were wrestling in my stomach. I didn't want to get laughed at, but I knew what I had to do. So he feels like giant robots are wrestling in his stomach. That means like he feels really nervous. He didn't want to get laughed at, but he knows he has to do the right thing. I choose Brady, I said. What? Aiden yelled. He can't play basketball. A giant smile spread across Brady's face, and he ran up and stood beside me. Why did you pick me? He asked. I wasn't a good friend yesterday, I said. Plus, I know you're good at basketball. So we can tell that our narrator feels bad about not standing up for him the day before. We started playing, and Brady made 10 baskets and stole the ball from Aiden 4 times. Wow, Aiden said to Brady. Where did you learn those moves? Brady smiled. Ballet class. Aiden looked at me and then Brady. Could you teach me? Brady, Aiden, and I started hanging out together all the time after that. Usually, we were in Brady's driveway practicing our basketball ballet. So at the beginning of the story, we see that Aiden, our narrator's friend, thought that the new kid, Brady, was too girly or something. He's like, he can't play basketball. I can't believe you do ballet. And he was picking on him. But then when he saw how good he was at basketball and how his ballet has helped him, we can see that he just changed his mind. He was like, oh, maybe I was wrong. Brian, type your question in the chat, please. Boys and girls, we only have 20 minutes left for this whole reading activity. So we're going to keep pushing through it. If you have questions, please let me know in the chat and I will answer them. Brian, type your question in the chat, please. Thank you. All right. So you should have highlighted some things with me about our character. Brian, I need you to type it in the chat. Type your question to me. Thank you. All right. Let's go to page 3. We have a chart to fill out to describe the character's points of view towards Brady from paragraph 1 to paragraph 16 of the story. So Emilio is our narrator. He's the one we've already highlighted in yellow. Aiden is one of his friends. We're going to go back and highlight him in green. Jordan is another kid in class. We're going to go back and highlight him in blue. So we already have a lot about Emilio, right? But we need to go back and find some points of view about Aiden and Jordan. So I'm going to go back to page 1. Go ahead and stay on the page with the chart if you would like, or you can join me on page 1. It wants us to highlight some things from the beginning of the story about the neighbor. So there's a new kid in our class. I told my friend Aiden as we hung up our coats in the back of the classroom. How do you know? Aiden said. He moved in next door to me, I said, sitting down at my desk. Mom and I brought over muffins yesterday. Class, please welcome Brady Walker, Miss Simpson said, while my new neighbor stood beside her. Brady, tell the class something about yourself. I'm from California, said Brady. I have a dog that eats all my stuff. Everyone giggled. His dog sounds just like mine, I thought. I like baseball and basketball, and I take dance class. Oh, and now I see something from Aiden. Dance class, Aiden yelled. That's for girls. Stop. The whole class laughed, and Brady's face turned bright red. That's enough, Miss Simpson said. At lunch, Brady walked over to an empty seat at my table. Hi, Emilio, Brady said to me. Thanks again for those often muffins. Can I sit here? I was about to say yes. So he wanted him to sit with him. But Jordan, who's blue, put his foot on the chair. This seat is taken, he said. Go sit with the girls. Aiden laughed. So there's Aiden again. Brady walked away and sat by himself. Brian, type your question in the chat, please. Remember, boys and girls, if you can't hear, leave the meeting and come back in. All right, so no, you need to go sit down and stop. So we have all of this evidence here about these kids and how they feel towards Brady, the new boy. So on page 3, we need to fill in the chart with their points of view. So their point of view towards Brady. Emilio, the detail from the text said that he wanted Brady to sit with them at lunch, right? He was just about to say yes, that he could sit with them. So think about, what does that mean for his point of view? So he wanted Brady to sit with them. Aiden laughed at Brady and said, dancing is for girls. So he laughed when Jordan said he can sit with them. And he laughed in class when he said, dancing's just for girls. And then Jordan tells Brady to go sit with the girls. So I'm going to give you the details from the text. Your job is to type what their point of view is. Your job's to type their point of view. Daniel, I don't see you typing this. Stop talking to whoever you're talking to, please, and focus. This is like the 3rd time I've warned you. This is your grade, you guys. This is 3rd trimester reading grade. Every teacher's grading this activity. Let's move on to question 2 here. It says, why doesn't Emilio sit with Brady on the bus after school? He always sits with Aiden on the bus. He feels bad for Brady and doesn't want to bother him. Emilio doesn't want to get picked on. He thinks Brady should sit with a girl. Go ahead and highlight your answer. Why doesn't our narrator, Emilio, sit with Brady on the bus? Why doesn't he sit with Brady on the bus? And then question 3. Why is it hard for Emilio to choose Brady for his basketball team? Does he fear that Aiden and the others will laugh at him for choosing Brady? He has an upset stomach and doesn't want anyone else to know. He's the only one that knows Brady is good at basketball. He worries that Brady might want to become friends with him. Why is it hard for him to choose that? Devin, I will zoom out so that you can see it too. Why is it hard for him to choose Brady on his team? So when I look at C, it says he's the only one who knows Brady's good at basketball. That is true, but that doesn't make it hard for him to choose him for his team. So it's not C. Which other option shows why it's difficult for him to choose Brady for his team? Daniel. I will call mom or dad or whoever is in charge of you if you cannot focus during class time. I've said your name so many times. You need to focus and get this done, or you're not getting a very good grade. And I will be sure to let your teacher know how you spent your time in my group today. Please make better choices. Thank you. Brian, please type your question in the chat. Thank you. Do we need to type their point of view? Yes. That is your part of this chart up here. You can do that at the end, though, because we're going to move to page 4 in just a minute. Okay, Betsy. We're going to move on to page 4 in just a second. All right. Devin, it is not C. We just talked about that. It is not C, you guys. C says he's the only one who knows Brady's good at basketball. That is true, but that's not why it's hard for him to choose him for his team. It is not C. While that is a fact, that doesn't make it hard for him to choose him for his team. That's the one thing that made it easy for him to choose him to be on his team. It is not C. All right, let's move to page 4. Remember, if you don't finish this page, that's okay. This is your independent activity. As long as you get it done sometime today and turned in, you're good to go. I just want to be able to go through this with you. So, question 4 is 2 parts. Part A says, what changes Emilio's point of view about how he should treat Brady? What changes it? The class behaves badly when Brady is introduced. Emilio remembers once being teased himself. Aiden realizes Brady is good at basketball. The coach chooses Emilio to be a team captain. Which one of these changes his point of view about how he should treat Brady? Why does he decide I should treat him better than everyone else has been treating him? And which detail from the story best supports that answer? The whole class laughed and Brady's face turned bright red. I didn't want to get laughed at, but I knew what I had to do. I didn't like being teased, so I gave up knitting. I wasn't a good friend yesterday, I said. Which one of these shows how he changed his point of view?
Oh my gosh. It is scary. Oh, this is I am mom. Mama.
So you need to choose one here and then choose the detail that supports it. Now, here's a dictionary entry to help us understand this next question. A basket is a container made of stick or twigs. The amount a basket can hold, a basketball hoop, or a score made in a basketball. Which meaning matches how this word baskets is used in this sentence? Brady made 10 baskets and stole the ball from Aiden 4 times. Does it mean, meaning 1, a container made of sticks and twigs? Did he make 10 containers? Meaning 2, the amount that a basket can hold. Did he make 10 basketfuls of food? Meaning 3, the basketball hoop. Did he make 10 basketball hoops? And meaning 4, a score made in a basketball. Did he make 4 scores in basketball? Highlight the correct answer. Which one shows how they used the word baskets? Did he make 10 containers? Did he make 10 basketfuls of something? Did he make 10 basketball hoops? Or did he make 10 scores in basketball? Highlight the best choice. Page 5. There's another 2-part question. How does Aiden's point of view change by the end of the story? Remember, Aiden is the friend. He's the one who in the beginning said, "Oh, dancing is for girls," and laughed at him. How does his point of view change? Does he think Brady is strange to enjoy ballet? Does he admire Brady and becomes his friend? Does he worry that Brady will start dancing? Or does he think Brady won't teach him? So remember, at the end of the story, he's like, "Wow, where did you learn those moves?" And Brady says, "In ballet class." And then it says that they hung out a lot after that, and they played basketball a lot and practiced their basketball ballet in Brady's house with his basketball hoop. So how did Aiden's point of view change by the end of the story? And then underline details from the story that support that answer. Details means more than one. Sit with the girls, Aiden laughed. What? Aiden yelled. He can't play basketball. Wow, Aiden said to Brady. Where did you learn those moves? Aiden looked at me, then at Brady. Could you teach me? Dance class, Aiden yelled. That's for girls. There are 2 choices here. There are 2 details that show his point of view changes. Which 2 details show that his point of view has changed? I did see you. You're so sweetie. What's wrong?
I mean, my knuckle with the den.
Okay, go get another one. There's some out there by the coach.
Mommy, you don't miss me.
You can do it. You're a good girl.
Mommy, you don't miss me. Mommy, you don't miss
No.
me.
Charlotte, you can do it. Why does Emilio get to choose players for the basketball team? The team is playing with his ball. Coach Kelly named him team captain. He was the first student in gym, or he asked the coach to let him choose them. Which event happened? Go ahead and highlight it. Yes, Ignacio. Go ahead.
I have to go.
Tell me again?
I have to go.
Okay, can you wait 2 more minutes while we finish this up? Okay, thank you. So why does he get to choose players for the team? Now the last one on page 6, this is the written response. It says, what is your own point of view on Brady? Is it more like Emilio's or more like Aiden's? Use details from the story to support your answer. No, Shari, that's Aki. Put it back.
Mommy, look, it's my neighbor's.
I know, but the juice in it's Aki. Mommy will get you new juice.
Yeah.
So my point of view is...
Mommy, it's my neighbor's stuff.
I know, Charlie. It's beautiful. So my point of view, as we should say, about Brady is... And you're going to tell me what's your point of view. My point of view is more like... And then you're going to say which characters it's more like because... Once you have this written down, you are free to leave the Zoom meeting. Remember that this activity is due today. Your teachers will expect this turned in from you by 3:30, just like if you were in the building. So make sure that after this Zoom meeting, you take a quick break, but then you get your work done and turned in. Once you have this written down, you are free to leave the Zoom meeting. Have a great day. Thank you for working so hard. Bye, everybody. If you're still writing, feel free to stick around for just a minute or two while you finish up.
Wow, what's that? Mommy,